right, hey everybody. Hello and happy Friday to you, and welcome to a special treat. You guys are in for a special treat, boy. Part of something new, part of something that not new, but been on the books for a while, and really, boy, just get ready. I mean, not only that, but our guest that's coming up, just a phenomenal person, phenomenal wife, phenomenal business owner, just all kinds of phenomenal things about her. And you want to make sure that you've cleared your calendar if you haven't already, because we're going to bring her on here shortly and you're going to be ready for it, right? So I want to welcome everybody to Conversations with Geoff, collaborative with Comeback King Enterprises, where we are going to bring you a preview over the next couple of weekends to the summit at the end of the month, right? From heartbreak to healing. Oh, man. Pathway to extraordinary love. Woo, baby. And the discussions. Listen, it's going to be some real raw heart talk conversation, right? And man, for those of you that are in that space where you've either in a bad marriage, just left a bad marriage or relationship, or you had some infidelity in the relationship, in the marriage, or you blew up, a marriage, or you're in the middle and you're stuck, just to kind of name a few things. Boy. And for you ladies that are past it and divorced now, you definitely want to tune in, because our guest is really focused in on that and delivers some powerful things around emotional, mental, and financial, even healing, that you're going to be able to take today, right now, today, and implement those, following the mission of Conversations with Geoff International, which is to help you take all these empowering tools and solutions that our guests bring to you and put them into place right now, right? To shift that, not only your stinking thinking, but begin to shift how you see yourself, how you talk to yourself, change the vision of how you feel about yourself. So anyway, listen, boy, so be ready. Make sure you got your friends in there. I told you all about that. And then let us know. We should have opportunity to answer a couple of questions. So when you drop some comments in the section, please show our guests some real love, right? You know what to do. Share, subscribe, and promote this message to the people out there that need to hear it, right? And be glad you are here. So anyway, let me find out what I have for our guests, right? So we can get to this thing, man. Get this thing moving, baby. Let me see. She's, guys, I'm not going to be able to go through this whole bio because she's accomplished a lot of things and just getting started, in my opinion, right? I mean, over 30 years in business. She's a speaker, a co-author, has a book, the Amazon bestseller. She's featured most recently in Bold Journal magazine. So she's right doing those things. And now what she's really talks a lot about is empowering women over 40 in ministry and business, divorcing to overcome life challenges. And like this, rebuild with purpose. Right. So not going to be floundering around. I think what's the name of this subject? You don't heal from divorce by accident. Ooh, she's kind of be that guy to help you do that, right? She's a holistic transformation expert, focuses on spirituality, mentally, emotionally, and financially, gain some things from that, helping you regain clarity, confidence, 2 C's, clarity and confidence, that are super important, and helps design, a vibrant, empowered future, right? Man, you will be shake it up when you get. Woo-hoo. Yes, indeed, right? So she also is a partner with her husband, who's a powerful leader in the community and co-author, and he's works with women also in financial capacity. So they collaborate, they take all these things, and they're mixing together. They're 2 power couples. I always call them power couples, right? I mean, that's just the way it is, right? So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring to the first collab, Conversations with Geoff and Comeback King Enterprises, our first speaker that's kicking off, really, the summer that's coming, right? She's the first special one. My good friend, Andrea Scott. Yeah.
Hey, how are you, Geoff?
Hey, doing fantastic. Yourself?
Man, I'm so good. I promise you. Thank you so much for that amazing introduction. Very heartfelt. I appreciate it so much, and I'm excited to be here.
Hey. And people probably wonder how did we get Red on together. She copied off of me really, but
That's great minds think alike. That's what it is. Great
that's
minds
right.
think
That's
alike.
great minds think alike, right? I wish she'd copy off of me, man. That would be an honor. But anyway, great minds think alike. So Andrea, tell us, we got to spend a little time here today, and we got this subject about you don't heal from divorce by accident. And, you and I came together here recently. You were talking about, what is that? Heal for real. Ooh.
Not for fake. Heal for real. A lot of people walking around thinking they're really healed and they're not. It's spilling all out, So yeah, we want to be healed for real. Amen. In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name, right? So you're healing for real. So tell me how they are. I mean, how do we recognize, or how have you begin to recognize those that are?
So honestly, it's a lot of times with the people that I meet and have conversation with and just listening, it comes out in conversation. It comes out sometimes I can look in a woman's eyes. Mainly my avatar, it is women. So I can look in her eyes. It comes out in their confidence a lot of times, particularly depending on how long it's been since they've been through their divorce. I also know someone who has been divorced in a divorce situation for 20 years and is still not healed. It's still not healed. And the thing about it is, though, Geoff, is you gotta want to be healed.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You got to participate in your own healing journey,
Yeah.
So it's not just like you said, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen by abracadabra. And even it's not even going to happen only and solely through prayer. We have to be an active participant in our own destinies.
So why do you think folks are how we get as human beings, right? There's something about being comfortable in the pain that we're familiar with versus what we look at change. Is that some of it? Who is it that, talk about that for a second.
So many times it becomes a badge of honor and it becomes a reason to the pain. It becomes a reason to not change. It becomes the excuse, so to speak, for being the same. And so when the attention that maybe a woman used to get from her husband or whatever, that she still needs that. She still needs that. And a lot of times the pain gets that. Gets that, and it feeds that space of are you okay? Are you doing all right? And that type of thing. And then it feeds that part of her, that heart that makes her feel like she's important. And without it coming off as pity, because I don't believe any woman wants to be pitied, but sometimes it can be received in that way.
Yeah, that's a powerful word, because pity leads to a whole lot of different things.
Absolutely.
From the receiver and from the deliverer.
Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you something, honestly, people kind of get tired of the same old thing. And at some point they're like, okay, he's never going to be okay. You know what I mean? And I'll be honest with you. I remember doing an intake of someone who was referred to me as a client. And I do an intake because I'm not a good fit for everyone, and everyone, we're just not going to be a good fit. I don't believe that to be true. And after I spent about an hour with her, which is more than the usual time. And I realized, and I told her, I said, you know what, this is probably not going to work. And I knew it wouldn't, because the conversation always went back to one thing. No matter what question I asked, it always went back to one thing. And so again, Jesus said, do you want to be made whole?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Take up your bed, your mat, and walk. So,
boy, but that's. I mean, I guess there's two things to that. I hear you can't push a wet noodle, right? In other words, they're just gonna be whatever that is, and and you can't change and save everybody.
It's true. Absolutely.
You know,
And I think too, it comes with timing.
mm,
So the thing about divorce, and again, Geoff, you might say something totally different because I work with women. You might, men kind of go through it a little bit different,
yeah,
right?
come
We all
on
deal
with
with
it.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And women, depending on the depth of the pain, it could be depending on the circumstances, depending on the timing. Sometimes it's just not the right timing for them. I had a client that was mad for like 5 years, before 3 to 5 years. And then finally she was like, okay, I don't want to be mad anymore, because it consumes you.
And now you just said something, consumed by that. And here's I think where we line up the same as men and women. Pain knows no discrimination.
Absolutely.
And my toughest points and lowest points when it was just the pain that was, the aching type of pain, the pain that men aren't supposed to talk about type of pain, right? That I've learned how to do over the years, Andrea, just to kind of free myself and understand that that's where you don't heal until you heal. Is my saying, right? And so you have to just do that. And even though you can't make the excuse, well, that's how I was raised. Well, you're grown now. And you have some level of education and access to information, and so anyway, yeah,
Yeah. Did check to all of that. Okay. High five to all of that. Okay.
we're dolphin,
Yeah.
So you're doing this stuff, and people say, and I always got to ask. I mean, so how do you qualify? I mean, tell us a little bit about your journey that lets us know that you've been there.
So let me just give you a little bit of my background. I'm going to speed through this for the sake of time. So I am a bicultural immigrant. Okay. I was born in the Caribbean on the island of Jamaica, and I came to this country as a child. My mom came here as a domestic worker to be able to get her children and my dad, my brother, and myself here to America for, the better life. And growing up, my dad was, he was an abused child. He was an only child, and his stepfather abused him, beat him, and that type of thing or whatever. And my father told us that he, when you have pain and trauma, you could either perpetuate it or you could say, no more, And my father said he would never let anybody abuse his children. And so when my parents came to this country, they they split shifts. My mom worked day, my father worked night. So we were never with the babysitters. They never wanted anybody to take care of us or anything like that. And so when my brother and I grew up, my brother after high school went to the military. He went to the Marine Corps, and then I went to college in Philadelphia. Well, when I came back home, I would go home to New York for the summers and get jobs and things like that. Well, one summer, and you got to understand, my dad was my BFF. Yeah. Before there was a BFF, I was a daddy's girl. I loved that man. He could do no wrong in my eyes. And so one day, I was home and on one of those summer breaks, and there was the phone rang, and I picked up the phone simultaneously with my dad. And I will tell you that, and I've never shared this story, particularly publicly. And I heard a conversation that I should not have heard, and I'll never be able to unhear. And that's when I knew that my precious father, whom I loved, that could do no wrong, was having an affair. I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know, but I know at that moment my heart broke. My heart broke for me. It broke for my dad, and it broke for my mom. So there's so many consequential matters and the trickle down effect, and I was 20 in my 20s, young, 21, 22, whatever, but the pain of it. And that's when, because you don't think it happens until it happens to you. So,
Yeah.
so I was the girl who waited to get married until I was 30. And I got married. I was 30. I was everybody's bridesmaid, and I was a church girl. So, we were in singles ministry and women's ministry and learning all these things or whatever. And you have this picture of marriage.
Yeah.
And one day it just gets shattered. But I remember saying to my dad, I remember seeing him one day, and I went intentionally to him, and I remember opening the door to his room, and I just looked at him, and I said, "Daddy, there's nothing you can do to make me not love you. There's nothing you can do to make me not love you." And it broke him, Geoff. I never saw my dad cry. He was the strongest. My dad was Superman to me, and it broke him. And so when I finally got married, and I was married to a pastor for 17 years. I was first lady of a church.
Yeah.
And my parents, even though they went through a rough patch, they were married for 45 years, 48 years or something like that. And my brother and I, we did not want to be divorced, even though going through these things. My brother ended up going through a divorce. And so I was like, I'm holding the line. And even though I was in a very unhappy marriage, and things were not the way that I thought they were and wanted them to be, I stayed because I didn't want the stigma. I didn't want I had a very public life. And I also, I didn't want to be that one kid that nobody, like my whole family was divorced. And so unfortunately, it is what it is. And I ended up after 17 years going through a divorce. So I understand the women that I specifically work with are professional women over 40 who are in ministry or business. And I was that girl. I had a very successful business life. I had a very public business life. I had a public, ministry life, or marriage, I should say marriage. And so I was that girl, and I had to navigate both things. I had to still show up big in career. I couldn't be under the covers, and all that kind of stuff. And I still had to maintain the integrity of the ministry and cover the ministry, the man and the marriage at the same time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, that's a gargantuous load. I'm shrinking as I hear you talk, trying to carry all of that, right? And because I know, professionally, I mean, you were. She's a boss, guys. I mean, I'll just tell you. I mean, she was like, may I just tell them, that the pink Cadillac queen just killed it in that life and in that business, and on the other side, in the personal life, was the same. I mean, they were highly regarded couples, power couples, and so with all that going on, how'd you sneak away to? I mean, when did the walls start to crumble a little bit for you? How did you do all of that?
Okay, so much. Everybody deals with things in a different way.
Yeah.
For me, it was my relationship with God. Like, I was the girl who I couldn't talk to anybody about it, and because I was leading a team of people who I couldn't talk to. Then I had the church community who I couldn't talk to, because again, trust is a big factor, and so I really leaned into my relationship with God. I really leaned in. The good thing about me, I think, was I did a lot of personal growth and development. And honestly, one of my gifts, when I tell you there's three things that I love. I love God, I love my family, and I love people. I love hard. I love hard. And so I had the ability to look beyond the person and the pain and understand that all of this is spiritual, that it's all spiritual. And so I was doing some studying, and I was looking at, even in Genesis, at the fall, in the beginning, it was against, the sin was against God. It wasn't against Adam or Eve, they didn't sin against each other. The husband didn't meet, and now she's mad at him. Now he pointed at her and she pointed at the serpent. Everybody was trying to blame somebody.
Yeah, somebody getting blamed, right?
Somebody was getting blamed, but it was all against God. It had consequences. Because it's interesting when you read the book of Genesis, you'll see that right after God created man, he introduced the concept of consequences.
He already knew. He knew.
You could eat over here everything you want. Yeah. But this thing right here, when you do this,
yes,
you will surely die. Consequences.
Yeah.
And so, God knew our proclivity to not be right.
Right.
So I always say, Geoff, that I have, if all of my T's are not crossed and all of my I's are not dotted, then I can't hold you to a standard. Even though I'm dealing with the pain of it all, or the fallout, I have to deal with that, yes, because I'm still an emotional human being and I still feel. But I also have to say, you know what? It's kind of like at the Last Supper when Jesus said, one of you will betray me, and whoever you do that quickly. And all of them were like, is it me? Is it me? Is it me? Is it me? Because all of them had the capacity to be the traitor, to be the one. And a lot of times we don't know what's in us until we get in a situation. And then we make a choice. We don't know, but it's in all of us.
Man, I'm thinking of my pieces of my journey when I made choices that I didn't think was in me. My mom and dad were married 44 years, right? And so I figured I would be married and be 44 or whatever years before my mom passed first, but that was the only reason why the marriage stopped. Right? But you were talking about the choices when we find ourselves in situations like that. So, but man, you were basically, I wrote down living in secret. Right, when you were sharing God obviously was there, but from everywhere else, the human part of the world for you, it was.
Yeah, what's interesting about that comment is that it's literally true.
Yeah.
When I went to my mom and dad to let them know that we were going through a divorce, my mother's words exactly were, "Wow, I didn't see that coming." And here's the deal. People say, how did she not know? Well, maybe intuitively maybe she knew something intuitively, but it wasn't because I brought her into it. One thing that I did know, that the people who love you, a lot of times they don't have the grace to bear your pain.
Yeah.
My mother would have been looking at me every day wondering, are you okay today? Well, what happened today? And so to put her through that and to have her always worried about, are you happy? Are you unhappy? And that type of thing. She didn't have the grace. My dad didn't have the grace, but I knew that God gave me the grace. His grace is sufficient for me. And so I couldn't tell a lot of people. I really literally went through it alone.
Yeah.
But, praise God, I came out and God is good. Yeah.
Well, he chooses the path for us. I believe that. And then, it's up to us to walk it or surrender and go the other way. And you chose to stand in it. And I believe it's for the exact reason why you're doing what you're doing today, and having all the success that you've had. And with success comes setbacks or setups, however you want to phrase it.
That's right.
Right. And you're doing that now. So, but I got to ask this question though. I was kind of thinking about, because I'm going back to when you answered the phone and you heard that situation with your dad, and you said there's nothing that he can do to make you not love him.
Yeah.
That's that. That ain't normal.
Yeah.
Right. It's not a normal reaction. Some folks hold that grudge forever, and the freedom that he got from the power in that truth. You know, I felt I had goosebumps through the whole story. I'm one of them kind of people that really absorb what I hear and feel. Andrew, so I really appreciate you sharing that at that level. So I guess I'm bringing it up to maybe we can talk about the power in surrendering the truth.
Mhm.
In other words, stop carrying it in secret. Stop. I mean, yeah, go to God. But what about those that don't have a relationship with God?
Mhm.
What do they do? How do
So
you-
that is why we have amazing therapists and amazing counselors and that type of thing. And I'm being honest, you gotta get help some kind of way from somebody
yes,
professional. Not the other thing is for the women in my life who were good close friends, I didn't divulge everything, but they knew something.
yeah,
But these were women, the only women that I talked to, Geoff, and I shared were people who I knew loved me and loved him. You can't
mm,
if you have your good
mm.
girlfriend, I never liked him no kind of way, and I knew that he was a hot
Ooh,
mess, and oh that right? And so
yeah,
that doesn't help you. So
no,
I only shared with the folks that I knew had a respect for us as people and
yeah,
as a couple, but as individuals, because I knew that any advice that I was going to get was going to be skewed by their feelings, their emotions, and what they thought about him as a person if they didn't like him. So I think you're muted. You're still muted. Oh, there you go.
yeah. This technology does its thing here, and I guess it was reminding me to be quiet. I was going to say something crazy, maybe I don't know. You know, because I don't like to see people go through pain and that. So but I like what you said. I like what you said there. So now, as we're going through this journey and we're doing these things, Andrea, and you're coming through the storm, right? How'd you find it? Tell me about how you felt about being worthy of love, or how you felt about love in general, or
Oh, my favorite part.
I mean,
This is good, juicy part, Jill. Okay, so this is huge. This piece is huge, and this I think is the biggest hurdle for women
mm,
because here's what happened. I did everything to change myself. I grew hair. I cut my hair. I lost weight. I dressed different. Did all of these gyrations to become more desirable, to become, and Geoff, I am cute. Okay. That's a trap. That's a trick. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted on purpose. You're muted on purpose.
I can see that even with my glasses off. Yes, ma'am.
That's so funny. So no, honestly, seriously. But when you're in a relationship where the marriage just isn't what it is, a lot of times the women think that they have got to change something to become somebody that is worthy of love from this particular person. And so I did all of it. And I realized it's not me.
Yeah,
It's not me.
yeah.
You could look like Holly Berry. You could look like Brad Pitt or Denzel Washington, whatever is your pleasure.
Yes.
And if it's in you to do whatever people gonna do whatever they're gonna do. So I had to really get to that place where I was like, you know what, Andrea, I remember when I would sometimes get dressed and I would want that, affirmation.
Yeah.
How does this? So I would ask. And
Yeah.
then I got to a point, Jeff, I was like, you know what? Let me look at myself because I know I look good. I don't need nobody to tell me that I look good because I know I look good. Okay.
Yeah, man.
So,
Woo-wee.
so I've always known that I was worthy of love because I gave love. I give love so huge and so big
Yeah.
that I knew that I deserved that back. So when I went through my divorce, I remember I was going to Maui on vacation by myself for the first time.
Nice.
And yeah, matter of fact, I had left. Matter of fact, this is my anniversary month, 11 years, August 4th, 2014 is when I went through my divorce. And I was on this plane, and it was like a 6-hour plane ride or something to Maui. And I remember taking out my iPad or my phone or something, and I was talking to the Lord, and I said, God, I know I'm a wife. I'm not a girlfriend. I'm not a side chick. I'm not I'm not a casual dater.
Yeah.
I said, matter of fact, whoever comes a calling, tell him he's going to have to marry me because I don't have time to date. I don't want to have to tell nobody it's not you, it's me. I don't want to have to tell anybody you're not the right type. I'm not ready. I don't want to do any of that.
Yeah.
And so I never looked at other men. I was too busy working in ministry and working in my business. So I didn't know where this man was coming from, but I trusted God. And I said, okay, God, I made a list of everything that I knew that I wanted. And some people are like, oh, you don't make a list or whatever. I made a list.
Yeah, I like that.
Because I was going to manifest this man.
Yes.
So I made a list, and I made, Geoff, it was 25 things. It was like it was like, he's got to know how to kill bugs. He's got to be, I mean, this is crazy stuff. I want him to sing the high part of Purple Rain. I mean, just stuff like that. He's got to laugh. I want him to, like music and all those things. I need him to be good with money. Okay.
Yeah.
Because where I have a deficit, I need him to have a plus,
Yeah.
So, and then I said, but God, here's the list respectfully. But I know you can do exceedingly and abundantly, and whatever you have or whoever you have for me, God, please just let him have some of these things right here. The love languages, all of those things. Have a little something. And I'm going to tell you, when that man came into my life, he was everything on the list.
Wow.
Everything. Geoff, he was only one. He just was one thing that he was not, and that was 6 feet tall. He's not 6 feet tall. He's 5'10".
I was going to say 2 inches, but it's close.
Listen, I could work with that. But Geoff, this is how deep it is. One day when we were talking, he was in the car, and he literally told me to hold on. And all I could hear was he turned up the radio, and he was like, hoo, 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 hoo.
Oh, go ahead, Jay.
This is me with the phone. Is he singing the high part of Purple Rain, God? Are you kidding me? Hand to God. I am not lying. This man literally steps out of my list. Everything.
Wow. I mean, there's so much magic in that. I mean, from the manifestation to the faith and the power of, and turning it over. And I'm assuming that you made the list and then you went on and said, okay, it's not up to me, it's up to him.
That's right. Closed it.
And closed it up. And as a result, you come across Nate, and he's a solid brother for real, from what I know, and admire him too, and he's got a lot to offer, and is offering a lot and doing a lot. I mean, you two are big brain people. I love to be around big brain people, right? It makes me feel comfortable. And so amazing. For those of you that don't know him, I don't know what all the things were on the list, but from what I know, he's a truly a king among men. So
yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Congratulations to that. And Coach said a similar story about her husband, to the T of whatever it was, everything on the list. And that became true for her too. So there's power in all of this stuff we're talking about. There is healing. So I'm looking to make sure that, we're talking in reference to some things we want to leave the audience with too, because, we could just sit here and just chat about all this wonderful stuff. I mean, you talked about regaining clarity and confidence. And I mean, you kind of started, I saw when you started talking about Nate, the vibrancy. Right? And the empowerment there. So what, Andrea, there's so many things out there that we could talk about today, and we don't have the time to. So you've already kind of given some truth to not letting pain stop you. Some seeing some folks that you idolize let you down, and showing some real grace, right? And then I love what you said about your parents don't have the grace to carry your burden. I mean, just some powerful things. So tell us a little bit about some of how you have taken your experiences into some of the things you're teaching. If I come to you, what's one thing that, I know you can, you do something, tell me what I would get right away that turns for me or helps me.
Sure. So the first thing that I always deal with my clients is the spiritual piece of it. It is, who are you? A big piece that happen to women is that they lose themselves. They lose a sense of, I remember asking one of my clients, well, what do you like to do? What are your hobbies? And they said, well, I don't know. Like, I don't have any hobbies. I said, well, what's your favorite food? Something that's simple. And she said, I don't know. My kids like this and my husband likes that. And, so she just fixes food and she's just eating what they like.
Yeah.
So the different hats that women wear causes them to label themselves. I'm this in business. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm, a teacher or whatever. But when you strip all of that away, it's hard for them to even write down things that are complimentary about themselves. So one of the things that I do, two things. One is that I share with women in the very beginning that there are two things that will tie you to your ex-husband. And not all marriages end in a scuffle. It doesn't all end with bickering and anger and malice and all of that. Yeah. Some people part ways and they do it well. And they co-parent well and all of those things. But for the ones that come to me who really need that to get over the hump, I tell them that there are two things that will always tie you to your ex-husband. And one is your children, and the other is unforgiveness. So let's work on make sure that we have those two things in the right space, head space and heart space. You can't use your children to punish your ex-husband. That's not what they're for. You can use them as little slaves around the house. you can use them as a whole bunch of stuff. Not to exact revenge. That will never end well.
Yeah.
The other thing is, the faster for me, what I had to do is I had to literally pray every day for him until I could really pray and mean it. Like I felt like, I wasn't just trying to rush through this. I'm like, okay, Lord, bless him. And that was it. That's how it started out. I know some of y'all listen, you're gonna be like, what? It's okay.
You done? You say you done?
Right. The Lord was like, that's it. And then I was like, okay, Lord, bless him and keep him healthy. And then I bless the ministry, bless the, whatever, provide for his needs and let him walk. And when I got to that place, I was like, man, I don't feel bad. I don't feel anything. I feel, And so one of the things that I do is I would say to my ladies, I want you to write a letter to him. It's not something that you're ever going to give to him, but I want you to say everything in that letter that you want to say or wanted to say. And in the 90 days that they coach with me, they're going to revise the letter. They're going to read it and they're going to revise it. And they're going to read it until they can read it without anger, without tears, and without retribution, wanting retribution or revenge or anything. I want them to read it until they feel like, wow, I just read this and I don't feel the way I used to feel,
Yeah.
Because once you read it and you start to really see it, it's something about getting that stuff out of your head and out of your heart, that poison, and putting it on paper. Let the paper take the pain. And
Yeah.
you just keep on reading it and writing it and revising it, because the more they're reading and revising it, they're changing. They're
Yes.
becoming better.
Yes.
They're getting the pain out of them. So
Yes.
that's one of the things that I do. So I ask them, and then we do a brain dump. One of the things that I want to do for you, Geoff, is I'll say, okay, we're together for 90 days. For now, this is what we're doing. What's the transformation that you want? What is something that you've always wanted to do, to accomplish, to start, to where do you want to go? Do you want to see, experience, whatever? And then in these 90 days, let's go ahead and pick something. Let's put down your top 5 and then pick your top 3 out of the top 5 and your top 1, and let's make that happen. So whether it's
Yeah.
writing a book, we're going to help you to format the book, start writing the book, putting the chapters together. Maybe it's learning a language. We're going to make sure that you got your Duolingo, if it's Spanish or, whatever that you watch in Telemundo, whatever it takes. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I actually have some people who are, well, most people do want to learn Spanish and that type of thing, but I do have a little bit, un poquito de español. Okay. So those type of things, maybe they want to start a business. And that really is one of the things that I focus on, because it helps them with the financial piece. It helps them with keeping more of their money, and also getting them into a community of people.
Yeah.
When you're going through a divorce, or when you've been in it and you're still around the same people. And the thing about it is too, Geoff, is that, now going through a divorce, your whole circle changes. You used to hang with the married people. Now you don't have the married people. Chances are your ex-husband is remarried, because that's how men move on. They move on with other women. They do. They get married faster than women do, right? For different reasons. But also, you must note that in Genesis, it does say God said it's not good for man to be alone. He didn't say it wasn't good for women to be alone. So
we need help. He knows we need help.
Listen, okay. So those types of things are some of the things that I'm going to work with them, reclaiming their identity, the spiritual piece, understanding what God says to them. And then I have them to write down their attributes. What do you love about you, Susie? What do you love about you, Jackie? And I will tell you that. And then I have them turn it into I am statements. And that becomes their affirmation to affirm who they are. But it's so hard in the beginning for them to write those things. They start racking after 2 things or 3 things. They start racking their brain like, oh, I'm nice. And then they're doing it like it's a question mark. So a lot of times they're so out of touch with themselves that the confidence is not there to even say, I'm powerful. I love people. I'm trustworthy. I'm this. They lose it all.
Yeah.
And so I got to reconnect them to themselves. That's the first thing.
Man, and that makes me think about what you were saying earlier about some of them are still thinking they need to fix themselves. They're still in that stage of putting on clothes they had no business wearing because they don't, and whatever goes along with that. Just like the guys will do whatever they do to do that, and so, man, to be able to, and boy, I see so many women that are like beautiful and intelligent and have good jobs, but they come from a bonehead man and a disrespectful person, and they wear that still a badge of honor. But when I'm hearing you talk about writing the letter and converting the love statements to I am, and to hear that you say how they struggle, that's a real thing.
It is.
That's a real thing. But what I'm hearing you say, these exercises bring them to the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the areas that I'll even say sometimes, well, what about, you didn't say you're attractive. What about that?
Yeah.
You're gorgeous, girl. Why don't you, is that not who you see when you look in the mirror?
Mm.
And sometimes there are blatant things that they don't even mention because they just don't feel like they're worthy, or they don't feel it, for themselves.
Well, the worthy piece and identity, those two things that, they line up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We never see ourselves anymore or higher than how we feel worthy of ourselves. And all
Right.
So these are tools of what I'm hearing that, they can do and do in an exercise, right? And begin to shift.
Yeah.
I mean, it may not be a big shift, it may be a little shift, but I mean, I believe it will give them the shift. So how did you come about this? Is this something that you did for yourself?
I'm going to tell you, this was really God. I did go through a program to teach me how to, I've been mentoring people. I've been giving advice to women I've always worked with women in business, 26 and a half years with women. I've heard all their pain, and my job there was to get them to a place where they could create income, you know what I'm saying, in their business. But I've heard it all. So, the other thing is I invested in coaching myself, and not just with my husband, who was he was just like a major force in shaping some of my decisions within the last 15 years, 10, 12 years. But so it really is the heart that I have to be able to hear. I'm an empath. So I feel people deeply. Like I feel people's hearts, and I listen to the way that people, and I think, and I found this out in business, is that I can hear what people are saying, that what they're not saying that they really mean. You know what I mean? So I can,
I do.
I can kind of cut through the weeds and be like, okay, you're saying that, but that's not what you mean.
That ain't what you mean, right? Yeah. We hear through our eyes, not through our ears.
Yes. And ask the right questions and you get the right answers.
Yeah.
So I'm just
that.
really inquisitive. I've always been that way. I was that kid that was always around my mom's friends, and all of that. So yeah.
And that's truly where I think the biggest gift that you can give people is that. Because oftentimes people are just talking, and then because nobody's really listening to them. First of all, they're used to talking to people that don't listen to them.
Right.
And then the ones that do listen to them are busy, so they don't really stop and say, your lips are saying one thing,
right?
Your body is telling us something different,
right? Absolutely.
And helping them.
I want to share this with you because I know our time is coming up short, and to come to a close, I should say. And this was so good because, and I know that this is going to help some. I'm trying to find it. I think I wrote it down somewhere, but I can't find it. But anyhow, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go straight to the source. Okay. Yes. So I was having when Nate and I decided that we were going to get married, that we wanted to, we wanted to spend our lives together. Our marriage was born out of respect for each other, and out of transparency, full transparency, and trust. So important, particularly for the women who want to be married again, because sometimes there are women, even after divorce, they want to be married again, but they're so afraid. They're so afraid. And so they busy themselves. And I've had to say sometimes, you know what? You haven't left any room in your life for anyone to really find you or to see you as available. He could, you're the perfect man for you, not the perfect man, but the perfect man for you could be over there watching you every Sunday or at work or wherever. And he's looking like, okay, she didn't have any room in her life for a relationship because, whatever. But I will tell you that, so we respected each other. And, but one day I was having a crisis, and I just was like, how do you know you're gonna love me forever? I don't want to go through it.
One of them boo-hoo moments, right?
Right. I literally was having to come apart. And he said to me, and I'm going, he told me, he said, Andrea, go get the Bible. I mean, it's a wonder. He was probably like, this is a crazy person right here that I'm getting ready to marry. but
Now I see it.
This is the wisdom of this man and why I love him so much and why I totally trust him. He said, go get your Bible. So I went and I got the Bible. And this right here is gold. It's golden. It's for everyone that's single, that's married, that's looking, that ain't looking or whatever. And it's 1 Corinthians 13. Geoff, everybody knows 1 Corinthians 13. It's the love book, right?
Yes, yes.
And he said to me, go get your Bible. And he said, Andrea, he literally asked me to vet him against what God said love is. So this is how it went down for everybody that's watching. He said, I want you to go to 1 Corinthians 13, start with verse 4. Love is patient. He said, stop. He said, have you experienced me to be patient? And when I tell you this man is the most patient person in the world, okay? I said, yes. He said, go ahead. Love is kind. He said, stop. It does not envy. Stop. It does not boast. Stop. It is not proud. Dissect it like that and vet the person you're dating or the person you're interested in, the person that you want to become. It's not self-seeking. It doesn't dishonor others. I mean, it doesn't put you down. Your husband doesn't put you down in front of his family members, or it dishonors you, or your wife doesn't make you feel bad in front of her girlfriends. It's not self-seeking. Right. It's not easily angered. Keeps no record of wrongs, ladies. We're not bringing up things from 25 years ago because let me tell you that since we on it. This is the Bible. Keeps no record of wrongs. It does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Love never fails. And when I went through that with him, and I thought, good God. This guy is checking all the boxes. Then when he left, I was like, well, let me go ahead and let me see about myself.
See what you see.
Andrea is patient. Okay.
I'm going to ask you how you go.
I had to vet myself because here's the thing, Geoff. Marriage is not for grown-ups. It's not for the grown, it's for the growing.
Growing, yeah.
It's not for the grown-ups, it's for those who are growing up. Because again, if you marry somebody who is sitting on the sofa playing video games, and that's what y'all were doing together, and then all of a sudden you become empowered and God gives you a vision and you're growing and they're not, that's complicated.
Yeah.
And so now love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy. We got to always go back. Everything is God. Everything. Yeah. There might be some people who don't believe. I'm a believer.
Yeah.
And I believe that this is one of the most powerful scriptures that had I known how to do that. I know. But God takes everything good, bad, ugly. And Romans 8:28 said, and I know that I had to go through that period of my life. And it wasn't all terrible. It wasn't all bad. But it wasn't supposed to be forever.
Right.
But I knew that thing was to get me here, to get me to, the timing was perfect. And I met my forever love right after that in God's perfect time. And so that's it. There was a statistic that said 62% of first marriages will end in divorce because they just married the wrong person for them. 60%.
Wow.
That's not good. Yeah. But anyway, so
I love that, and I never, and it doesn't matter if you believe in God or not. If you believe in being patient, if you believe in being honest, anybody can take those marks and measure themselves.
Principles. That's right.
Right. And so and just so plainly spoken. Right. I mean, and Jesus, I understand, spoke softly and powerfully and asked a lot of questions and was clear on his message, not a riddle to do that with. So now, yeah, that was powerful. And if you see me, I'm taking notes. I shouldn't be.
I know. I am fully aware.
Sorry, I don't always get back and watch it like I should to get to what I need. So
okay.
This has been amazing what we've been talking about, and it lines up with the summit. You know, the heartbreak to healing and a pathway to extraordinary love, Andrea. And you've given so many different things for people, believer or non-believer, however it is, to put in their life, right? And so as we kind of wind down, man, thank you so much. This has been amazing. I hope you had a nice time, as much fun as I've had.
Outstanding.
You know, just an incredible time with you, and it's just more than I could imagine. How do you summarize what we've talked about in terms of a takeaway for them? I mean, some single takeaways, some home run, grand slam stuff as we say goodbye, and how do you help summarize for that person that's still on the fence and they're like, disqualifying themselves? How do we swing at them one more time?
So I love the reason why, again, I chose the Healed for Real message, title, tagline for my coaching program is because, and you alluded to it, nothing is dealt with until it's dealt with. And it will follow you throughout the rest of your life, and you deserve better. It is going to come out when you have leaks in your armor. You're going to spill, it's going to spill out. It will touch on other relationships, whether it's romantic or not. It could be friendships or all of those types of things. And it is so important to put yourself in a position to get the healing that you need, because it won't just happen by osmosis. It just won't. It's that you could be triggered by a song. It's like a grief. It's almost like a funeral. You know, you lose, it's just a death. You know, and just like you could remember a loved one who's passed on by a song or a movie or a smell, a scent or anything like that, it's no different. And so get the pain out, and so that you can live the life that you so deserve, because we all deserve to live in happiness and fulfillment and all of those things. So, you know, if you're a woman and you're looking to at least get a consultation with me, I don't know what the men gonna do, but call Geoff. Call Geoff. But feel free to reach out to me, and I would love to chat with you.
Yeah, that would be great. You know, and as we lead into the summit, you know, the part of that thing will be a VIP option, and so make sure that you're mentioning this conversation today, and with that, so that we can really hook you up with some stuff that you would normally get if you hadn't shown up to hear this message.
Absolutely.
So, man, this has just been a phenomenal time with you, as I expected, and just so many things that we could talk about. And I want to make sure people know how to get hold of you before we go.
Yeah. So you can go to lifeisrichglobal.com/healed4real. So it's HEALEDFORREAL. So lifeisrichglobal.com/healed4real. You could also hit me up on my email, which is Andrea, my first name, NSD, like Nancy Sally David. So Andrea NSD at Comcast.net. You can email me there. You can message me on Facebook at Andrea C. Scott, Instagram, the Andrea C. Scott, all of that. I am very visible. You can Google me. I'm Googleable. I am Googleable. Yes. And when you go to my website, you will also be able to download a free ebook that can help you, ladies, with some things. And you can get a hold of my calendar to book an appointment with me. And it's totally free for 30 minutes just so we can talk through some things. So,
and I would encourage fellas to take advantage of the ebook. I mean, you know, we need to stop hiding behind ignorance and hiding behind laziness, and understand that the queens that we desire deserve a king that is worthy of them, and we can't be half-stepping. And so go get 1 Corinthians 13 and put that on your wall, and then ask yourself where you stand, because I'm going to do it.
absolutely.
And, you know, so listen, fabulous time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we hope to have you back on again and soon. So thank you.
Thank you for having me, Geoff. Had a wonderful time, and you're such a great interviewer. And much success to you as well.
Thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
All right.
Well, hey, listen, boy, I don't know where you came in on this. If you got it at the end or at the beginning, I'll tell you to listen to it again. If you are truly looking for some healing, if you're truly looking to find yourself in a space that you deserve to be in, to walk away from the chains of that mental stinking thinking that you're holding on to, right? And the pity party, right? I mean, ain't no room for pity party, right? At some point, we have to accept the responsibility. She talks about that. And she gives us some tools, all of us, ladies and gentlemen, that we can use to kind of begin that journey. So do reach out to her and make sure you do this for us. Tell a friend. Everybody has somebody that you know that is struggling, that's suffering in silence, right? It doesn't have to do that, man. And like I tell you, we got to heal. We got to peel before we heal, baby. And she's talked about it. Get that stuff out. I mean, great things, writing the letter to yourself, oh man, and then reading the letter, and then, that transformation happens. That's real stuff, man. So I encourage you to pay attention to what's coming on the summit. Information is in there. I think we have a VIP posted in here. I don't know if we have the link. I don't think we do. So if you're interested in that, because you get this recording and some other things I'm going to twist their arm on, maybe we can do for you, right? Folks out there that understand the power of our guest that just left here and her true intention to heal and help you. Oh, man. And this is just the tip of the iceberg as to what she can help you with and what she's done. So put it on your calendar, August 28th and 29th. Heartbreak to healing. Finding extraordinary love. And the bonus will be in there for you. So I am going to ask you to do one more thing. Make sure you share this information. Put some love in the comment section. Send her some love for what she's done for you today. And remember, like we always say, don't let nothing stop you from reaching your destiny. You shall not be denied. Stop letting stinking thinking be the controller of your life. Flip that switch. Change that conversation you're having with yourself about yourself. Find folks like Andrea, ladies, that can guide you along the way. And fellas, we got something for you. So anyhow, you guys have a fantastic day, and welcome to the kickoff of the summit coming. Woo! More information to follow. Have a fantastic day, and thanks everybody for listening. Get this information out. Talk to you soon.